We're in the home stretch for the top 10, which means we're getting into deeper shit at this point. Oh, Nightlight. Makes me want to shake my head so much that it feels like my head will pop off. So, what happens in this episode? Okay, so SpongeBob reads a book that scares the absolute shit out of him, and even Gary, that Gary sleeps with him, and he can't get to sleep because he keeps imagining things that inanimate objects are monsters when, the lights are off, and it's so bad that he can't get to sleep. I guess that can connect with kids, but it gets worse from there. So, yeah, he just does terrible at work, and he's so afraid of the dark that when he blinks, he's scared of the dark. Really, just doing this, he freaks out. And Mr. Krabs tells him to get a nightlight. A nightlight. So SpongeBob does, but then he gets he gets the one nightlight, and then when he gets home, there's so many other places that are dark, which could be solved by closing the fucking door. I mean, really, his bedroom door, the bathroom door. I mean, he basically bought all the nightlights that were available at the bargain mart. So bad that basically there's no way he can fall asleep. And, it gets Patrick's attention, and, SpongeBob is so paranoid that, well, he's like, there's creepy creatures in the darkness from the book he read. Now, I know this is supposed to be teach kids, about being afraid of the dark, but this does a terrible job at it. It just says, get a shitload of lights and you'll be fine. And, if someone tells you, like Squidward, that they don't exist, don't listen to them because they still exist. Sorry. And it gets so excessive that, well, Patrick brings his rock into the dark and they even get a fucking lighthouse, which somehow makes the Mermaid Man signal. Yeah, Aquaman didn't have a signal like that. I know Batman did, but certainly not Aquaman. In case you're wondering, Mermaid Man, that's totally Aquaman. And it's pretty funny, and Barnacle Boy is Aqualad. So yeah, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy get over there in the invisible boatmobile, and they run into SpongeBob and Patrick, and they're like, don't mess with, lights like that. And then all of a sudden this moth creature comes, and apparently it's, Mermaid Man's nemesis that he searched 57 years for that no one has heard about. I mean, there was never any build up to this character. It's like, what's the point? And okay, imagine I am Mermaid Man. This is how big the little moth thing was. I know he's old, but come on! Are you freaking kidding me? That is so unepic and just really pisses on how awesome Mermaid Man is. And then SpongeBob, throws him into the lighthouse, thinking it will kill him, but no, he, lifts up the lighthouse, which also lifts up SpongeBob's house, and, well, Mermaid Man, Barnacle Boy are like, fuck it, let's go home. And then, SpongeBob and Patrick are left with no shelter. And then morning comes, and Patrick sees a big light, which is the sun. He runs towards it, as if he's never seen the fucking sun before. And SpongeBob falls asleep, and Patrick comes down on fire. This thing is a fucking mess. My God. Can this episode be organized, or at least tell kids, it's okay to be afraid of the dark? No, 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 no. No, get a shitload of night lights, and just, keep all the lights on in your house while you're at it. Spoiler alert, this is the last SpongeBob special that will appear on this list. And Pests of the West. No! No! It's crappy. It's very, very crappy. And in case you didn't know, it was the special from Legends of Bikini Bottom. Legends of Bikini Bottom, which was comprised of all shit led up to Pests of the West. And, okay, here's how it goes. Apparently, everyone SpongeBob knows had a famous relative. Patrick's was a poor Paul Revere ripoff. There were a bunch of other ones, pirate, and all very forgettable stuff. And, SpongeBob goes with Sandy to the library, as boring as it is, to, look up, any famous relatives that SpongeBob has. And he passes a statue, which, here, let me try to show you what the statue looks like.
I couldn't find a picture on the internet, so I recreated with Leo, Prime, and Drift. It's a poop-colored... It's a poop covered, not poop colored, but yeah. Covered in jellyfish poop of, a knight in this kind of pose, and pretend this is a seahorse, pretend this is a knight. I know it's not a good representation, but I couldn't find a picture of it. And yeah, SpongeBob's like, I wonder who your, whatever. He sees this and, wonders who he belongs to. I don't know.
So then they look up and find an old relative of SpongeBob called Spongebob SquarePants, and yeah, basically the extent of SpongeBob's character, he's basically just SpongeBob, except he's got a Western accent, and he came to Deadeye Gulch, which was what Bikini Bottom was before it was named Bikini Bottom. And, he comes in and has ice cream and is even fitted for a coffin. That's not funny, dark humor, guys. No. Really, I'm shaking my head so much that it will pop off at any given moment. So, yeah, and then he goes into the Krusty Cantina. It's owned by Mr. Krabs' ancestor, and Squidward's descendant works, not descendant, ancestor works there. This is Puff's ancestor was a stripper. Oh yeah, that's real nice, guys. Yeah, and, Patrick's ancestor is there too. And then comes Deadeye Plankton, and, they sing a song about Deadeye Plankton, which is stupid, and, it's basically Plankton with a mustache, a hat, and a whip. And in this episode, specifically, they even detail his ass. Why the butt jokes? Why? So then, Plankton comes in to collect his money from Krabs, and, SpongeBob's like, that's not your money, and, Plankton's like, you dare speak against me? You dare bring light into my lair? You must die. CDI reference. Yeah, live it, love it. Yeah. So then, Plankton challenges SpongeBob to, a coffin race. Coffin jockeys. Yeah, you don't use horses here. Unlike, something like this. No. Coffins. And, he's like, whoa, girl. And, it would be funny if he had, those sticks with horse heads on them. I mean, that works a little more. It's funny. This is a fucking coffin! Something you put dead people in. And why coffins? So then he runs out into the middle of the desert, and, apparently he meets some talking skulls, and, Patrick comes and cheers him up and gets him back to the town where Deadeye Plankton has stolen everyone's clothes. He formulates a plan with, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and Mrs. Puff the stripper. And, well, he fights Plankton at high noon. And how does he defeat him? Just steps on him. And it bears the question, why didn't anyone in the fucking town think of that before? mean, you're all bigger than him. What, was it because he whipped the whip too much? Really, it's like Indiana Jones. Whip it good! Whip your willy, bitch! Whip it! And then after that, you know, people pay. Mr. Krabs says people pay to step on plankton, and that's the end of the episode. But then, apparently, the statue was a statue of Spongebob that the town made many years ago, and you know, looks pretty fine. But how do you get something covered like shit, roughly like this, into this? God only knows. So then after that, you know, it's SpongeBob and Patrick singing song Idiot Friends, which is okay. It's okay. It's sure not. It's sure no. Don't be a jerk. But at least it's not Atlantis Square Pantas songs. Ugh. Oh, Gullible Pants. The only ones that were really gullible? People that were expecting a good episode. No, no. Also, how did I miss this on my first list? Well, it's gonna get its ass beaten for sure this time. So, what happens? Okay, Mr. Krabs is, you know, counting money, jizzing himself over money. Oh, money. Again. And then, you know, he splits his nail on his claw somehow. I know this is a cartoon, but haven't we already established that SpongeBob is the only character that has fingernails? I mean, really, just watch Fry Cook Games. They even, you know, explain that SpongeBob's the only one with fingernails. Mr. Krabs doesn't have fingernails, nor does Patrick, and that includes toenails. No one else. SpongeBob's the only one. But, yeah, you know, Mr. Krabs magically has, you know, fingernails, and it's split, and, you know, he calls and asks to get a manicure, but it's in the middle of the day, and he doesn't want anyone to find out that he's off to, you know, get a manicure. So, something that copies an older episode, that being Squid's Day Off, Mr. Krabs has to leave for non-work related stuff, and he leaves one of his employees in charge. He's not leaving Squidward in charge this time. Oh, no, no, no. Unfortunately, he leaves Retard Pants in his place, and, SpongeBob, he sees Squidward sleeping, and, he's like, Squidward, are you going to work now? No. And then he sees customers, minding their own business. They're not even looking at him. They're like, everything's okay. We're working in a temporary manager on the job. What? I, it's not even awkward humor. That doesn't even make any sense. Fucking writers. Okay, so then, Squidward thinks of a genius plan. And this is where, nothing, not even Squidward is likable in this episode. He tells SpongeBob that apparently he has a scheduled Krusty Krab nap. And SpongeBob somehow believes it. Even though he's been working there for years and has seen Mr. Krabs scold Squidward for sleeping on the job, and all of a sudden, you're saying that it's okay! Because you know what? Everything Squidward says is correct! Even bullshit like that! I mean, what the fuck? And he keeps telling SpongeBob other stupid ass shit like, literally throw shit around the Krusty Krab because apparently the customers will like it somehow. Put gum under the seats, and then, all the customers, thankfully, start to leave. But then Squidward's like to SpongeBob, why don't you try to make him dance? Try to make him stay. And, SpongeBob trying to make him stay. Dances. You don't want to miss this. And he starts dancing. The customers freak out, and you're like, what's he doing? He's dancing. Never went back away. Okay, even when this is done to Squidward, It's stupid. And not to it doesn't make any sense! God, and then Mr. Krabs comes back, he got his manicure, although his entire claw is shining instead of, his nail. And he sees that, it's a shithole. And, apparently, and then he tells Mr. Krabs that, he knows his secret. And SpongeBob, he did it to other people, like this one guy who Squidward said wanted to be a fry cook. He's like, hey, it's me. I know your secret. SpongeBob, that's a very douchey thing to do, you asshole. Say you know someone's secret. I know your secret. You're gay! Faggot. Yeah, so then, Mr. Krabs lets SpongeBob take over, and while he's washing dishes, he even splits his nail again. And that's it. Who thought that was a good idea? It sucks ass, man! Ass! Giant Squidward is nothing but a giant mess. And, okay, how does this start out? Squidward, he gets up and goes into his backyard and sees that his kelp's kind of been destroyed, so he gets, a kelp regrower spray, sprays it on, it's fine. And then all of a sudden Patrick and SpongeBob are there, and apparently they're doing their good neighbor duties by helping Squidward, reduce the size of his, garden, his kelp garden. And Squidward kind of gets cocky with the spray that he, Squidward sees that Patrick has some chocolate ice cream, so he sprays the spray with it, and it becomes giant. Patrick and SpongeBob eat it all, and then, they start using it for other crap, like, SpongeBob uses it to make his shoes bigger. I know this is a cartoon, but come on, you guys have just abused cartoon logic, okay? You've just abused it. You abused it, raped it, and then murdered it. Okay? So then, SpongeBob sprays Squidward's nose and it becomes even bigger than it already is. He does it to Gary Shell, and then, he can't get Squidward's nose back to normal, so he just decides to even him out to the point where he looks hideous, and then he inks and, starts to be proportioned, and then he chases him. SpongeBob and Patrick thinks it's playing! Like, And then they go into town, and they think Squidward is everyone in Bikini Bottom thinks Squidward is a giant that wants to attack them and kill them. So they rip off Gulliver's Travels by strapping, Squidward to the ground, and, Squidward promises to be nice to everyone. I mean, and then, the favors it rips off the sponge who could fly, asking them he's being asked retarded favors. And then when someone sneezes when he was complimenting him, I mean, Squidward didn't hear him sneeze. He was like, everyone looks at him, what? You didn't say bless you, let's kill him! What? Are the people in Bikini Bottom that sensitive? It just doesn't work like that, guys. It just doesn't work like that. And Squidward hides so easily. I mean, he even hides in plain sight. And, he's like, I'm a lamppost. Go somewhere else. Yeah, Bikini Bottom is now a town of sensitive people and the retarded. And then they put a giant bear trap on Squidward's house. And then SpongeBob and Patrick decide to, make it up to Squidward. They make him a giant clarinet, which somehow shrinks Squidward back to his normal size. I mean, it's not even explained. And apparently they use Squidward's kelp to make it, and Squidward chases them. And that's it. I just don't like it. I swear to God, no-nose makes me want to puke every time it comes on the TV. You know who doesn't know anything? The writers don't know how to write good. I mean, only 10 times, but that does not make up all the other crap that they've pulled. But I already did another video on that. I would just check it out, but finish watching this. So, you know, Patrick all of a sudden is crying that he's the only one of his friends that doesn't have a nose. I mean, no fish has a nose, but Patrick doesn't care. All of his friends do. Pearl doesn't really have a nose, and would you really consider Pearl to be Patrick's friend? Nah, not really. So yeah, he goes to a doctor, a nose doctor, who puts on a nose, and you know, after the surgery, Patrick does a very poor comedic attempt at getting the bandages off. I will carefully remove the bandages, and he just rips it off, has a mixer and then a sander, all not funny, and he's got a new nose. How does this thing work? You know, if you want something, you gotta know how it works. And I mean everything. So then he smells good things, he even smells donuts, and then he learns about bad smells. And this is where this episode couldn't get any more gross and any more bad. I mean, it's like the writers thought of everything that was smelling. It's like, what should we do for this nose episode, Paul Tibbet? I don't know. Just throw all gross things in. I mean, we're already shitting on the series as it is. And we love pissing off Steven Hillenburg and all the older fans that grew up with the original show. So do that. Alright, boss! And you want to know my reaction is to it? Fuck you guys. Fuck you. You see? Viacom, if you're watching this, you see this? You see this? This is my sign to you. Okay? So, it gets to the point where Patrick becomes a neat freak. I swear I saw this on an episode of Hey Arnold, except it was with germs and not bad smell. But unlike Hey Arnold, this isn't any good. I think it was with Sid. I can't remember. I haven't seen that show in a long time. Yeah. So, you know, he destroys Squidward's imported cheese, which is supposed to smell. And he somehow smells SpongeBob's smelly armpits. And you know what? Everyone gets so sick of him that they make an entire ball of just gross stuff, which, ugh. That's so bad that it's no shriveled stout and no longer exists. Patrick's back to normal, but he's crying, and you know, there's a funeral for his nose. And at the end, apparently, he got giant ears now. Why? Your friends don't even have ears. Gross. I want to puke. This shouldn't even exist. It's so gross. No kid would laugh at this because they would just want to puke. They would want to puke their guts out. It's that bad. Cephalopod Lodge. Nah, I'm just kidding. I just yawned and, you know, I got my tear ducts. I wasn't really crying, but Cephalopod Lodge. So much wrong is put into this episode. I mean, look at my face. Just look. This is garbage. This is it's kind of like a Squidward torture porn, but no, nothing goes right at all in this episode. So apparently, SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs notice that Squidward has a trend like every third Wednesday of the month. I forget, but really, does it matter? No. No, it doesn't. And, other one, SpongeBob's curious that he wonders, what he's doing. Again, I have seen this so many times that if you're still using it today, you are out of ideas, lazy, and a dumb motherfucker. Really, really, you are a dumb motherfucker if you are still using that shit. So, and he brings Patrick along, and apparently it's this secretive lodge, and there's, what you call it, when, they bring new members in. I can't think of the word right off the top of my head, but, yes, SpongeBob and Patrick somehow snuck through the door and saw it all, and, Squidward of course knows him, and he gets kicked out because, well, outsiders saw the ritual, that's the word I was thinking of. Initiation ritual. I just thought of it. So they kick Squidward out and take his robes away, and SpongeBob and Patrick, they'd like to apologize to the lodge, and my God, this is so wrong that I want to strangle not just the writers for SpongeBob now, but everyone that's associated with SpongeBob. I want terrorists to blow up Nickelodeon. Forget famous landmarks. Blow up Nickelodeon Studios. Please. Do it do it for Americans that have been hurt and at least make them happy. We all know that's not going to happen. We'll have to take matters into our own hands, but not actually blow up stuff. So then, yeah, they do a crappy job. It's like they say that it's not their fault. Well, if it wasn't your fault, Patrick's fault, or Squidward's fault, whose fault was it? And they blame the door guard, which I guess that makes sense because his ass was supposed to guard, but since SpongeBob and Patrick don't take responsibility for what they did, that is weak. So weak. And Squidward can't be in the lodge anymore, so SpongeBob and Patrick try to make it up to him, and they create their own lodge, and called the Feather Friends, and they're in chicken costumes, and it's stupid. So then SpongeBob and Patrick, plan to get Squidward back into the lodge by getting in a giant sock, which is clearly stop motion, and I guess it's kind of funny, but it just doesn't do the trick for me. So apparently everyone falls for the giant sock albino eel because, well, apparently squids are afraid of it, which is a detail that was shown in the ritual. And, no one questions that Squidward made it back into the lodge, and then, he does the most fake fight. I mean, we foul beast, or I will spite thee. And they fall for it. And, he's back in the lodge, but SpongeBob and Patrick ruin it. They, of course, blow their cover, and Squidward's out of the lodge again. I am so pissed, man. The card is absolutely stupid that I don't know where to begin. How about the beginning of this episode? Okay, well, we're at the Bikini Bottom Bank, and SpongeBob is going to get some fast cash, and does it in an annoying way. Hey, a teller guy, this dollar bill is bent. Sponge, who gives a fuck about if it's bent or not? Does it matter? So why is SpongeBob getting money out of the bank? he's gonna go buy some new Mermaid Man and Bungle Boy cards. And you know, he goes there and you know he opens up his first pack. It's like, all right, are any of these good? And he tells him about the 54th card, which is an animation one. Mermaid Man says, buy more cards. Wow. Still, it's not impressive. So, SpongeBob spends all his money, and he does not get one pack, though. And this is cliche that Patrick ends up buying it, and guess what's in it? Number 54. So then, SpongeBob, he's so jealous of Patrick that he just tags along with him, and Patrick does stupid things with the card. So what does he do? I mean, first he breaks into his own house, and then does it to scrape off a grill and flip burgers on a grill and use it as a plate. Well, just no, 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 no. No, it's too stupid, and then it disintegrates, and he hands it to SpongeBob, and it disintegrates. And you know what else was in the pack? The other 4 cards that were in the pack, number 54s. Fuck you, Paracon. Fuck you. I don't know how I can do the last 3 when things just piss me off this much. It is just shit. It's a piece of shit. I want to kill it. Keep Bikini Bottom beautiful. Where do I even begin? Okay, so Squidward, he's happy one morning, strolling along, and then he steps into gum and rips off a Pluto cartoon from the 90s. And, this cop sees that he threw gum, which was already on the ground. I mean, he even chews his stuff. It's disgusting, and gives Squidward a ticket, and he has to do community service. And, Squidward picks up trash, and Squilliam, sees him. He's like, ha ha ha, I have a statue of me, suck my dick. So then Squidward's like, I want a statue too of me. Because Squilliam, he picked up all the trash in a week. Squidward says he can do it in a day. So, yeah, Squidward steals a little kid's wagon, and then he has the trash in the wagon, and then suddenly people think it's trash day, and they put all their shit into the wagon. The kid gets his wagon back because his mom beat up Squidward, and then that asshole cop gives him another ticket. He has the balls to give him another ticket for no damn reason, and even something that he didn't do. And this occurs throughout the episode, and it is annoying as all hell. So, yeah, SpongeBob, this is where SpongeBob gets involved. He tries to help Squidward get rid of the trash, so he puts it underneath Squidward's house, and it makes you just want to puke twice. Not even twice. Continuous puking, and it's so continuous, people will think you're possessed. And then the asshole cop keeps writing up Squidward for more retarded bullshit tickets that Squidward didn't do. It's because SpongeBob keeps dropping trash, and it's bullshit. And then SpongeBob makes a statue of Squidward, which then melts Squilliam's statue, and that is it. This episode is filled with puking, stuff that makes you want to puke, and so much bullshit that I cannot take it. I am so fed up. I tried to rewatch this episode as well as the other episodes, but it took me like 5 times to try to rewatch this episode. That just shows just how bad this is. We now have 2 more to go. And let me tell you, it is you are just going to want to just do something bad. Let's just put it that way as this list progresses. Oh, the Krusty Krushers. I can't believe that I missed this episode in my original countdown. And let me add something to this. When there was like, I forget what it was, but some big SpongeBob event, George Lopez chose which episode came on next, and he said the Krusty Krushers because he liked it. Coming from George Lopez, that would make it some sense. I'm sorry, I just don't find him funny. I never did. And neither is this episode. I mean, this episode is just, it's another good idea that is fucked up so badly that I don't even think the original writers could, you know, make this bad, because the new writers screwed this up so bad that it just blows my mind. And we're not even at the worst. So, there is a wrestling competition. Professional wrestling! And also, might I add, this episode brought back the My Leg gag. That's the only good thing about this episode. The return of the My Leg gag. That should just show you how bad the rest will be. Not saying the My Leg gag is bad, it's just that is the only good part. So, you know, apparently the winner wins a whole lot of money, and guess who's there? I'm Mr. Krabs. I love money. Ah, that's good. Oh, that's good. Yeah, Mr. Krabs. He wants to compete, and you know, he sees basically all the wrestlers that have defeated the 2 world champions. And they basically have been killed, and he's like, I don't want to do this. So he grabs SpongeBob and Patrick, who act retarded in this episode. They're not even funny the least bit. You know, they think it's all play, despite the fact they are getting their asses handed to them. And I mean, Mr. Krabs probably shouldn't have told him that this was fake wrestling, and they're like, we're having so much fun! You are not making this better, SpongeBob. And Mr. Krabs explains to them that you need to win in fake wrestling, and they do a piss poor job. The world champions put them in the sleeper hold, which is literally falling asleep, and they're put into a bed, and then they're about to pummel them, and apparently Patrick has been doing these butt exercises, and then all of a sudden his butt turns to steel, a steel ass. Yeah, this is a, oh, whatever. And it crumbles the world champions into a million pieces, and apparently, you know, they get the prize, which is the money, and then all of a sudden Wrestle Camp, and SpongeBob and Patrick choose Wrestle Camp. As much as I hate how greedy Mr. Krabs is, I rather would have seen him get the money than this bullshit Wrestle Camp. I wanted to blow up my TV. It was that bad. I mean, I know other SpongeBob episodes make me want to do this, but this one wanted me to do that too. And when an episode makes me want to do something like that, that is just a shitty fuckload of an episode. Summer Job is the one episode that I found to be worse than Yours, Mine, and Mine, Atlantis SquarePantis, and Truth or Square. We are talking about something so unholy that, you know, that even the Pope couldn't successfully perform an exorcism on it. It is that bad. You know how bad it is? I would rather they're just sit around and play with Fall of Cybertron Jazz and Universe Galvatron than to ever watch Summer Job ever. And let me add, in case you don't know, these two Transformer figures are shit. And I'm gonna have a Transformers countdown. Yeah. So expect that. So how bad is it? Okay, Mrs. Puff's boating school is being let out for the summer, and apparently SpongeBob has a note for Mrs. Puff that he does it in an annoying way. Mrs. Puff, I have a note for you. Yeah, that's not the least bit creepy. And just like the audience, Mrs. Puff wants to get away from this asshole. So she tries to get away, and, SpongeBob throws the note into Mrs. Puff's face that causes her to crash into the front of the Krusty Krab. And, it's damaged, and Mrs. Puff is going to have to pay for it somehow. Maybe she should have just decided to go on a date with Mr. Krabs or have sex with him. By the way, how come Mrs. Puff and Mr. Krabs aren't dating anymore? Remember when they were? I would just like to see that brought back. Oh, no, wait. Because of the new writers, they would fuck that up so bad that, terrorists probably would blow them up. But that's besides the point. And, yeah, apparently, and Mr. Krabs has Mrs. Puff take Squidward's place, and he's like, Squidward, you're on vacation, and kicks him out, and she's gonna do Squidward stuff. And, of course, she's gonna have to work with the Sponge, who acts so annoying. I mean, he basically acts like her in school, like, learning you must take notes. SpongeBob, this is a fast food restaurant. I've never worked at a fast food restaurant, and even I know everything that works in there. Like, what you have to do to take orders. It's not rocket science. So quit treating Mrs. Puff like she's a dumb bitch, because you are the dumb bitch, you bitch. So then it gets so stupid that do I even need to say anything else? Do I even need to show you anything? Don't even watch it. Let me tell you, you are going to want to burn down an orphanage after you see this episode. I'm serious. I'm not joking. You will want to burn down an orphanage. You will want to burn down your own house. You will want to burn down the world. Burn down everything in existence. Burn down the entire galaxy for all I care. This episode will make you do that stuff. And Mrs. Puff, like the audience, gets so fed up that she's like, fuck it, I'm out of here. And then she rips up the note and she's arrested for littering. And apparently, there's a driving course in jail. When did jails offer that? And guess who's teaching it for the summer? Timer's up. We all know who it is. SpongeBob. SpongeBob! I am so mad! This is so shitty that... Oh my god! It's so bad. It's so bad. It is so bad. And you know what? Yeah, I watched this, so you don't have to.